Here's an interesting fact. Did you know that the Gallego killers, Gerald and Charlene, used charm and manipulation to lure their victims, making them seem like an ordinary, friendly couple? It's a chilling reminder of how danger can sometimes hide in plain sight. Hey there, friends, it's your buddy Saeed Rasalat here, and I've got a story you won't want to miss. Ever wondered what it's like to come face to face with real-life serial killers and live to tell the tale? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. In this video, I'm sharing my chilling encounter with Gerald and Charlene Gallego, two of the most infamous serial killers in history. But this isn't just a story of survival. It's a lesson in trusting your instincts and staying safe in a world where danger can lurk around any corner. So, grab your popcorn and settle in, because this is one story you won't forget. Trust me, you'll want to hear how I narrowly escaped becoming a victim and how this experience changed my life forever. Let's dive in together. Hey, have you ever had a night out turn into a heart-pounding brush with danger? Picture this. You're at a bar, shooting pool, having a blast, when suddenly you realize the friendly couple you've been chatting with are actually notorious serial killers. That's exactly what happened to me with Gerald and Charlene Gallego, and let me tell you, it's a story that'll make your hair stand on end. Join me as I recount the chilling details of that fateful night, and learn how I narrowly escaped becoming their next victim. Get ready for a story that's stranger than fiction and more gripping than any thriller movie. Part 1. A night like any other. It was a typical Friday evening, and my date and I decided to hit up the Sail Inn in West Sacramento for a game of pool. The Sail Inn was our go-to spot, mainly because of the awesome bartender we loved chatting with. Her name escapes me now, but I remember she had this captivating smile that could light up the whole bar. As we walked in, we noticed the pool table was taken. No biggie, we thought, and my date went to get us some drinks while I watched the game. That's when things started to get weird. The couple playing pool, a man and a woman, seemed nice enough at first glance. But then the man, let's call him Joe, struck up a conversation with me. "So, what's your name?" Joe asked, as he lined up his shot. "Saeed," I replied, keeping an eye on the game. "Nice to meet you, Saeed. I'm Joe, and this is my wife, Lisa," he said, gesturing to the woman beside him. Oddly enough, Lisa hadn't said a word yet. As the game went on, Joe started asking more personal questions. "So, Saeed, do you live around here? How long have you and your girlfriend been together? Do you guys live together?" I felt a little uneasy but tried to keep things light. "We live nearby, and we've been dating for a while." "No, we don't live together yet," I replied, hoping to steer the conversation back to safer waters. But Joe kept probing, and I noticed he and Lisa exchanged some strange looks. It was like they were communicating without saying a word. My discomfort grew, but I brushed it off as just my imagination running wild. After the game, Joe surprised us by inviting us to join them at another bar down the street. "We found this great spot, and we'd love for you guys to come check it out with us," he said, flashing a friendly smile. I hesitated, glancing at my date for a cue. Before he could respond, I blurted out, "No thanks, we have dinner plans," even though we didn't. I just had this gut feeling that we needed to get out of there. As we left, the hair on the back of my neck was standing on end. It was only later, when I read about a murder in the area, that I realized just how lucky we were to have escaped unharmed. Part 2. The Chilling Encounter. A few days after our unnerving encounter at the Sail Inn, I stumbled upon a newspaper article that sent shivers down my spine. The article detailed the brutal murder of a woman from West Sacramento, and as I read on, I couldn't believe my eyes. The woman in the article was none other than the bartender from the Sail Inn. I was stunned. The friendly face I had enjoyed chatting with just days ago was now gone, a victim of a senseless crime. But it wasn't until a month later that the full extent of what had happened that night hit me. I came across another article, this time about the arrest of a couple for a series of murders, including the bartenders. The couple's pictures stared back at me from the front page of the paper. Gerald and Charlene Gallego, the same couple who had invited us to join them at another bar that night. I couldn't believe it. The friendly couple we had chatted with were actually serial killers, and we had narrowly escaped becoming their next victims. It sent chills down my spine to think about how close we had come to tragedy. I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled over me after learning the truth. How could I have been so oblivious to the danger right in front of me? But as I reflected on that night, I realized that there were subtle signs that something was off. It was the way Joe had asked us to join them without consulting Lisa, the way they had exchanged knowing looks during our conversation. It was all too clear now, they had been sizing us up, trying to lure us into their twisted game. As the reality of what had happened sank in, I couldn't help but feel grateful for my intuition that had urged me to get out of there. It was a sobering reminder of the importance of trusting your instincts and staying alert, even in seemingly safe situations. The encounter with the Gallegos changed me. It made me more aware of the dangers that lurk in the world and the importance of staying vigilant. It's a lesson I'll never forget, and one that I hope others will take to heart. Trust your instincts, stay safe, and never underestimate the darkness that can reside in the seemingly ordinary. Part 3. Trusting my instincts. After the shock of realizing how close we had come to danger, I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to do something. I wanted to understand more about what had happened that night and why I had felt so uneasy around Joe and Lisa. I started researching the Gallegos and their crimes, and what I discovered sent chills down my spine. They were a notorious pair of serial killers who had lured their victims with charm and manipulation, just like they had tried to do with us. I realized that my intuition had been trying to warn me that something was off about them. It was like a sixth sense that told me to get out of there before it was too late. I was grateful that I had listened to that inner voice, even though at the time, I couldn't quite put my finger on why I felt so uneasy. As I delved deeper into the psychology of serial killers, I learned that they often have a way of making their victims feel comfortable before striking. They use charm and manipulation to gain their trust, making it harder for their victims to see the danger until it's too late. Reflecting on that night, I realized that I had picked up on subtle cues that something was off about Joe and Lisa. It was the way they seemed to be communicating without speaking, the way they were so insistent on us joining them at another bar. These were red flags that my subconscious had picked up on, even if my conscious mind hadn't fully registered them at the time. I learned that it's important to trust your instincts, even when you can't explain why you feel a certain way. Your gut feeling is often trying to tell you something important, and it's crucial to listen to it, especially in situations where your safety may be at risk. The encounter with the Gallegos changed me. It made me more aware of the dangers that lurk in the world and the importance of trusting your instincts. It's a lesson I'll never forget, and one that I hope others will take to heart. Trust your instincts, stay safe, and never underestimate the darkness that can reside in the seemingly ordinary. Part 4. Lessons learned. As I reflected on the events of that fateful night, I realized just how much it had changed me. I used to believe that danger was something you could easily spot from a mile away, but now I knew better. It can come disguised as friendliness, and sometimes it's only your intuition that can save you. I started paying more attention to my surroundings, trusting my instincts, and not hesitating to remove myself from situations that felt off. It wasn't about being paranoid, it was about being smart and staying safe. I also realized the importance of sharing my story. If my experience could help even one person trust their instincts and avoid a dangerous situation, then it would be worth it. That's why I decided to share my story with you today. I hope that by hearing my story, you'll be inspired to trust your instincts and stay safe in your own life. Whether it's a night out at a bar or a walk home alone, always listen to that inner voice that tells you when something isn't right. The encounter with the Galagos was a wake-up call for me, a reminder that danger can lurk where you least expect it. But it was also a lesson in resilience and the power of intuition. I may have escaped unharmed that night, but I'll always carry the memory with me as a reminder to stay vigilant and trust my instincts.
So, remember, stay safe, trust your gut, and never underestimate the power of intuition. It could save your life. And with that, I'll leave you with a quote that has stuck with me since that night. Trust your instincts. They are messages from your soul. Thank you for listening to my story, and stay safe out there. In conclusion, my encounter with the Galagos was a chilling reminder of the importance of trusting your instincts and staying alert to danger. It's easy to dismiss that nagging feeling in the back of your mind, but sometimes, it could be your saving grace. I'm grateful that I listened to my gut that night and escaped unharmed. I hope my story serves as a cautionary tale for others to always be aware of their surroundings and trust their intuition. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and never underestimate the power of your instincts. Thank you for joining me on this journey.